entirely. Personally, I'd start wondering whether Claressa is intentionally avoiding the topic. Think back to yesterday's video. She had no problem coming to Remy with plenty of confidence before those receipts surfaced. But after Remy answered back, that energy seemed to disappear. She stayed relatively quiet until last week when she finally returned with her new song. So let's see whether she keeps that same approach during this interview. Based on the preview alone, it feels like we're hearing many of the same talking points we've heard before. The cash comes out, the tough persona returns, and the overall message doesn't seem to change very much. But let's be honest, the timing behind this podcast matters. After spending the entire weekend reacting to Remy's record, she showed up in front of the cameras looking ready to control the narrative once again. Now let's shift the focus back to Papoose because the Africa trip deserves a closer look. Before we get there though, let's talk about what he posted across Instagram and his stories. One photo showed him smiling with a stack of cash while his song Counting Green played in the background. That wasn't random. To me, it looked like he was sending a message without saying a word, almost as if he wanted everyone to understand exactly what his priorities are right now. If you ask me, money appears to be the biggest motivation behind everything we're watching unfold. It seems like he's willing to navigate all of this because he believes there's something bigger waiting on the other side. Maybe the goal is to build as much financial success as possible before making his next move. Even if business agreements still connect him and Claressa professionally, that's completely different from their personal relationship. Those are two separate conversations. On the personal side, though, it honestly feels like some distance has started growing between them. They don't appear to spend nearly as much time together as they once did. Instead, Papoose seems completely locked in on promoting his music. Lately, he's been posting video after video of himself in the car, rapping along to his own tracks almost every single day. It's the kind of content you'd expect from a hungry newcomer trying to get discovered. The reality is that he's approaching 50 years old and still chasing the breakthrough he has wanted.
When you was in Africa and people was wishing they got their shots, should I scroll back to them? Let me scroll back to them. Play with me. Play with me. Play with me. And there was no shots to go to Africa. It was pills. How do I know? Because the text came to my phone because he's still on my health insurance. He just didn't want you to go. That's all. So he could sit over there and call me every day about how being here just makes me think about everything. Don't play with me. Don't play with me. Yesterday, scroll back to when you was in Africa and people was wishing they got their shots. So, should I scroll back to them?
According to Remy Ma, the story behind Claressa missing the Africa trip was very different from what the public was told. She claimed the real issue wasn't travel requirements at all. It was that Papoose simply didn't want Claressa to come along. That's a major allegation, and if true, it completely changes how people look at the situation. Instead of being about logistics, it becomes a question of personal decisions behind the scenes. Remy also alleged that she and Papoose were still exchanging text messages while he was overseas in Africa. That would mean the lines of communication between them remained open, even after all the public back and forth and online drama everyone had already witnessed. Meanwhile, Claressa was presenting a completely different narrative to her audience. She made it sound like missing the trip came down to not getting the required travel shots in time. But according to Remy's version of events, vaccines were never the real obstacle. Remy argued that the issue was actually related to medication, not vaccinations, and she suggested that obtaining what was needed wouldn't have prevented the trip from happening. In other words, she believes Claressa still could have traveled if that had truly been the only problem. If that's accurate, then the explanation shared publicly leaves people with even more questions than answers, and that's exactly why this part of the story has sparked so much debate. Now let's hear what Remy had to say next as she began revealing more about those text messages.
Stay with me. Let me get the Africa post on. Hold up. And the only reason, if anybody's wondering why he's still on my health insurance, because it's against the law in New Jersey while you're going through a divorce to take them off of your health insurance. So unfortunately, I can't. Let me get those ready. Send me Shorty a number. I send it directly to her. I send you the whole video thing that I literally entertained just because I knew this day was gonna come. Weirdo. Hold on. We in Africa, right? I ain't go to Sierra Leone. Hold up. You call me later. You call me back, I'm busy. Hold on, sending me videos. Yo, right now it's 1 minute. I can't make this up if I wanted to. Why do I care what degrees is out there? Small talk. Videos of everything that's going on. Yo, how do they balance that? I'm not gonna lie, the motor cards is fire. It's only 92 degrees, I'm assuming. And it's supposed to rain. This and that's you already know when they give the temperature. Everything was fine. Look at me, you dressing like Brooklyn over there. You better get some Kente cloth. I hate traveling with a bunch of stuff. Stop it. You have
going back and forth about everyday things, including him saying he didn't even have clothes with him. She also pointed to something she believes exposes another inconsistency in Claressa's explanation about the missed trip. According to Remy, because she and Papoose are still legally married, he's still covered under her health insurance. That would also mean she, not Claressa, would legally be in a position to make certain medical decisions if an emergency ever happened. Whether people agree with her or not, that's one of the key points she used to question the story surrounding the Africa trip. What really stands out is just how much communication Remy says was still happening between them. She even warned Claressa that Papoose would eventually run circles around her, arguing that this behavior wasn't new at all. According to Remy, that's exactly how their relationship had operated for a long time. Even while he was overseas without Claressa, she says he continued reaching out to her as if nothing had changed. If that's accurate, it paints a much more complicated picture than what was being presented publicly.